Hello, and thank you for joining this transformational experience today. I'm going to be sharing my screen and we'll do a presentation as well as an experience. So without further ado, let's get started. Today, we're here to release some sabotaging blocks. And today's for you if you're feeling stuck, tired of taking 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, so to speak. Perhaps you're looking for clarity in your life, career, purpose, relationships. Maybe you want to improve your life on all levels, your level of fulfillment, your emotional state. Perhaps you're stressed or overwhelmed. Maybe your financial situation isn't where you want it to be. Perhaps you're feeling that it's time to awaken. You're feeling the world shifting and you don't want to be left behind. This is for you if you're any one of those things and you want to improve your life on every level. Now, I appreciate your time and I want to let you know that what you put in to your attention to what I'm about to tell you versus where you're distracted. Maybe you're checking your phone, your social media. Maybe I'm speaking to you on the screen and you've got other things open. What you put in attention-wise is what you're going to get back. So to get the most out of the session, I highly recommend that you put away your phone, your social media, close out other screens, other tabs, and give me your full attention because that is what you'll get back. You'll get the most out of this. We're going to do the experience, and your subconscious is already coding in information. It's already learning. Now, what we'll cover today is a little bit about my background, the history of this work, how it was formed, how it works. We're going to talk about the 5 steps to create, to manifest in the fastest way possible. We'll do a demo where you can actually experience releasing your own self-sabotage and negative patterns. And this is being recorded. However, the replay works. There is no time and space in the energy field. And so you can play this, and whether you're watching it live or in replay, you are going to receive the information. You are going to have a shift no matter when you do it. You will also receive a free gift so you can continue releasing your blocks. My goal today is so you can learn what's been holding you back in life and teach you those 5 steps so you can learn how to shift life to what you want to create instead of trying to react to life. You're going to then experience the Rapid-Recode yourself, and it will leave you feeling more centered, more empowered, more uplifted, and give you more clarity. So who am I? Who is Galit Rubin? That's how you pronounce my name, Galit. I'm a top coach at Conscious Education Company in Australia. It's a 20 million per year company, growing fast because it's here to change the world. I work both in groups and with one-on-one clients, and with Conscious Education's group that has about 3,000 members and growing, and I have my own group as well. I am certified in reconnective healing and magnetic mind method, and I'm one of the first in the world to be certified in this life-changing modality based in quantum physics, in neuroscience, in epigenetics and hermetic principles. Over the years, I've studied and practiced many modalities. I love health and wellness, and I have learned so much about diets, herbalism, studied under some great leaders, and I bring you the most efficient and effective transformational method today. Because of this system, I'm able to live a life I love on my terms. I get to work from home in the resort town of Ojai, California. I get to travel the world. I get to enjoy my life on my terms. I live with my husband, Daniel. We love the outdoors. We love animals. We have dogs, cats, chickens. You actually might even be hearing Creeper meowing in the other room because he's a very demanding cat. So it wasn't always this way. I did not always live a life of joy on my terms. Actually, I came from a working class family and I immigrated from Israel with my family. My dad brought us here when I was a teenager, and I'm a victim of abuse. My father abused my sister, my mother, and myself. Growing up as an immigrant, I felt really awkward. Here I am, the awkward teenager, always living in the shadow of my more beautiful, good student sister. All the boys looked at her. She was always smarter than me, and I just didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I don't know if you guys ever felt wherever you go, you never feel like you quite belong. Whether you grew up in a loving, nurturing family or an abusive situation, whether it was physical or verbal, we all might feel a little different and we don't know where we belong in the world. And here I am today as a top coach doing the modalities that I love. Despite my abusive path, the truth is that my father loved me and he raised me in the best way he knew how. He lacked self-control. He lacked self-love. And once my uncle told me that my grandmother had a really bad temper herself. But despite his inability to properly express love or control his triggers, he often consulted with psychics. He went to healers. He went to Ayurvedic doctors. In many ways, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? Some of it's beneficial, actually. So while I didn't pick up those physically abusive traits, I am grateful for what I learned about the metaphysical world through my dad. I remember him sitting me down on a chair, and he told me that the chair that I was sitting on was actually not solid and that it was simply vibrating at a certain density level. However, my dad died alone in renal failure. My mom finally left him once my sister and I were out of the house, but he had full dementia, type 2 diabetes, and received dialysis 3 times a week just to stay alive at 74. He was not a happy man despite his constant search for spirituality. He never quite reached it, always in search, never to arrive. How many people do you know went to their grave never fulfilling their destiny, never reaching their true potential, never feeling happy and content? They are still, so many people are still living in incompleteness and feel like they're running out of time, including people that have been practicing manifestations or going to healings, meditating. They're often far from their true potential and purpose. How many people do you know that have eaten healthy all their life, go to the gym, yet still develop all sorts of cancers? Isn't it true? So I spent years dabbling in different industries because I felt lost. Who was I growing up in this household where I felt that I wasn't worthy? I was confused. I didn't know how to feel safe and secure in the world because my own household wasn't safe and secure. All I knew that I was an immigrant trying to fit in, and I was told I wouldn't amount to anything, that I was less than. So lost and confused, I was always trying to overcome that I was a victim, that I was an abused victim. And my confidence was really low, and I just didn't know what I wanted. I never felt good enough to pursue my dreams. I didn't even know what my dreams were, to be honest, because I wasn't allowed to dream. I just believed my father, who told me that I wouldn't amount to anything. I became a perpetual student, going to college, trying different classes, trying to find myself, trying to find my worth. And when I left home, I set out to heal my childhood wounds. I tried many different therapies, from traditional therapies to seminars, Tony Robbins, meditations, EMDR, all kinds of different modalities. I was open to traditional and energy. And the newest modality, I would be the first one to try it, trying to overcome my childhood and trying to learn where it was that I belonged and what I wanted to do in life. I tried many different jobs. I tried sales, I tried MLMs, I tried the Hollywood industry, I tried businesses. I was a natural entrepreneur, but I started many things and I quit when things started to get good. As soon as I would see some success, something would always pull me back until I founded a nonprofit dog rescue. I was very proud to have created this organization, this nonprofit, where it brought community together. It saved 7,000 dogs while I was running it. And I retired just recently from it and handed it off to good hands. But I felt proud for the first time in my life of what I created. I was getting attention from others and people were praising my creations. However, on the inside, I was not complete. Here I am in Live Happy magazine, yet on the inside, I was not happy. And actually, I realize now that the success of this organization is because my self-worth wasn't enough to be successful in business for myself and make money for myself. It was much easier for me to raise money and ask for money for the dogs while I take a very humble, small nonprofit salary because I had a feeling that I was not worthy to do anything that amounted to great success for myself. So it was easy for me to create success and financial abundance for a good cause, but not for me personally. So I felt very restricted and there was never enough money to go around. I was a single mom and I was struggling. And inside, I was really stressed. I was really overwhelmed. I was fearing judgment of others. I was anxious. My adrenals were actually failing. I worked 60 hours a week and it was for the dogs. It was never for me. Every time I set up to make more money, to have more time, to have more happiness, it's like I took those 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. It was like there was an invisible threshold. And I got certified in energy healings, Chinese herbs. I worked on creating nutrition programs for people. I tried MLMs for more money, even though I still use all those MLM products that I tried to sell. As soon as I saw some success, I would somehow quit. I found an excuse not to let me continue. I realized after the 4th MLM, the next shiny product that I would go for, I realized, I was seeing success. And every time I started making money and seeing proof that I was good at it, and people were seeing results in my health products, I would quit. I realized maybe it's me. Am I the one that's sabotaging myself? Consciously, I created something that kept me from having what I wanted, that showed up as an excuse in disguise. My organization needed me. Others needed me. My circumstances wouldn't allow it. I realized that I was a victim of my own circumstances. I structured my nonprofit so that I would just always be needed. So I always had a perfect excuse not to have what I wanted. Why would I do that? Why would I subconsciously create a system where I enabled everyone around me that I would be the one to drop everything and take care of it so I couldn't have what I really wanted, which was freedom, which was abundance, a life that I loved, time freedom, time for my son. I just didn't know what to do about it. Then something happened. I was at the right place at the right time, which never happens to me, but I was invited to an experience a little bit like you are today. I discovered Christopher Duncan's work and started working with the magnetic mind method, which is a combination of neuro-linguistic programming, Robert Fritz's work about structure, William Whitecloud's work about creating magic, and amazing energy work of Colette Stryker of the MAP Institute. And she learned it from Dr. Gary Flint. Dr. Gary Flint was a psychologist who created a technique to work with patients through using the morphogenic field, the field of energy around all living things, using intuition and muscle testing and he read this field of what needed to be released and balanced. And he taught it to Colette Stryker, who taught it to Chris Duncan. He built this special modality that is the last thing you'll ever need through the years of his training in just about every modality under the sun. And suddenly everything changed. What I realized is I've been going about it all wrong. They're missing some major elements. I see coaches and therapists of all kinds working on your mindset, on your brain, on your emotions. I see healers working on your energy body, but they don't work on all aspects of you. There's a synergistic way to become whole and to manifest in the correct way, a recipe, so to speak, that contain the right elements, which I'm about to share with you. We are not just a mind. We are not just a body or a spirit. Since they are not separate, why do we separate them to get results? Or perhaps we treat just a combination of two. We hear this is connected, but I really want to show you how and why this is so important. I hope you're with me because it's about to get juicier. And so let me ask you a question. Ask yourself, how many times have you signed up for a personal development program or any kind of mindset work and came out all pumped up about your new mindset, ready to take on life and to take it to the next level? And after a certain amount of time, maybe a month, a week, you find yourself back where you started. You can't even repeat what you learned. Your excitement just fizzles out. Well, it's not your fault. There's actually nothing wrong with you. That's because we're programmed to stay the same. What I realize is that I've been going about it all wrong. Pretty much the entire personal development world has gotten it wrong too, because they focus on what's wrong with you. It's a problem-based structure. The first rule of the law of attraction, if you believe that we're energy and vibrational beings, we attract with our focus. So that's really important. We create our reality, don't we? And so with millions of people practicing the law of attraction, why don't people still have what they want? It's because they live in a problem-based structure. Think about it. Societies, everyone is always focused on the problem. Our schools do it, our governments do it, our parents do it. We even put it on our resume that we are problem solving. But if our focus creates our reality, what are we coding in when we focus on the problem? We just get more of the problem. We focus on problems and we see more. Global warming, wars, war on drugs, war on this, war on that. So think about what the whole entire world is consciously or unconsciously focused on. Now that you know, focus does create reality. This is where the basic premise of the law of attraction really comes into play. Your focus does create your reality. With my focus that I had to prove my worth, to work hard, to be a hero in some people's eyes, since my childhood was so filled with all sorts of unworthiness, I created my own sabotage. With my focus, I created those 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, spending my entire life trying to resolve or overcome or fix my problems. Guess what I got more of? I created my own experience. I learned that I can also create a new one. And so can you. We don't know what's embedded, what got coded in from the past. And I'll show you why in a bit. But through this work, I released instead of fixing myself. I learned to take back my power instead of being a victim of my circumstances. Instead of waking up riddled with stress, I had inner peace. I saw improvement in my life on every level. My mood, my energy, my sleep, my confidence, relationships, income. I laughed more. I stopped reacting to life. I started creating life. I realized how much time I was wasting focused on overcoming my problems instead of focusing on what I love? Well, I decided to help others. I became certified in magnetic mind method, and upon graduation, I was asked by Christopher Duncan himself to be on his team, to coach his groups, to coach his private clients. I'm currently one of 2 staff coaches taking one-on-one clients, while the company has grown to $20 million a year from the couple of thousand sessions that I've performed at least, and speaking with so many clients. I created my own I Am Superconscious transformational program to hone in on what I witnessed people needed to release. It's a 12-month program journey that involves incorporating this work with everything I have learned in my past, and it is life-changing. Even when I took this photo, I feel like a different person that I was then, and I look like it from the inside and outside. Here are some success stories that people have experienced in a short amount of time. Katrina, within 2 months, she says she was living life in a black void, being stuck for so long in misery that she stopped dreaming of a better life. She wrote this in September, just a couple of months. She writes that it brings tears to my eyes when I think back of how miserable I was before. My life is transforming and I am happy. I breathe joy in my heart, expands, and oftentimes I cry. It's such a beautiful feeling to know that I can have and live a life I love. My dreams can become my reality. Isn't that beautiful? Melanie, who, congratulations, has also just recently joined to become a coach like me. If you're ever curious, please don't hesitate to ask so I can help you out on your journey if you like this work. But Melanie, when I met her, she was living with an abusive man, and she didn't believe that she could do any better. She didn't believe that she could be on her own and make it on her own. But through this work, she moved out, got her own place, started learning music because she loves music, started allowing herself to have what she wants. And now she's joined our program. And Rebecca has sent me this lovely message and gave me a permission to share it. In such a short time, she has been helped beyond measure. She's a better person for it. I love who I am for the first time. Most of us are not in self-love. We don't know what self-love is. And this program certainly teaches that. This is from Nikki in Wales. She was a clerk at a shop when we started working together, and her dream was to have her own shop, her own piercing shop. She's a body piercer. She never thought it was possible. In less than a year of working together, she opened up her own shop. She expanded. She also became a certified acupuncturist. So now she has more skills that she's developed and working with more people. And her latest creation is she also joined our certification program. She became a bodybuilder. At this point, she's actually a lot more sculpted than when I shared this photo. And she keeps going. She's vegan, by the way, and can't believe all that she's capable of creating. I received this text from Angela, who is a Kentucky Derby champion horse trainer. She wanted a way to work with horses doing what she loves, yet being able to travel with the horses. She found a way to bring her dogs along and live life on her terms, and I received this wonderful text. This other one is a sleep quality text from one of my clients who was barely sleeping, and she started reaching her sleeping goals. We can go on forever. This does change lives, and there is proof upon proof of how this impacts in the short term and the long term. You can receive shifts immediately. I work with people from all walks of life, from shamans, psychics, to real estate agents, to crypto traders and bartenders, to high achieving executives. I've worked with Fortune 500 executives, and this works for everyone. I work with cats, dogs, horses, and for now I do them as one-on-ones at a discount. but I will be creating a group where I can do more for animals. I'm trained in animal communication as well, and I've also worked with clients releasing grief of a lost pet or a loved one. So this work does help release grief. But what I've noticed overall is that there's a big problem, and you probably have noticed it too. Most people are sick, stressed, unhappy, reacting to life, living in fear instead of living it. Now, we can blame social media, cancel culture. Isn't it true that everywhere we turn, there's another problem? It's the education system. It's the parents, it's the politicians, religions, the billionaire, the pandemic. It's my upbringing, my parents, my genetics, the pharmaceutical industry. Everywhere you look, there's an enemy to blame. So what I want you to know is that it is not personal. It's structural. We've been in the wrong structure. I'm going to show you that now on the board. We live over here in our current reality. That's what this stands for, current reality. The here and now. And we have a desired reality, something we would just love to have. And we think that if we have this, life will be so much better. Isn't that true? When we have better health or a nicer body, when we have the money, when we have a loving relationship, maybe the business, maybe the dream home. You can put anything here. We think that once we have it, the future will be better. It will be better than the now. Isn't that true? So we strive to get it. We have to take action in order to get this. Maybe we go to the gym. Maybe we go on a detox. Maybe we go get another healing. Maybe we try to get another job or change careers. Maybe we go back to school. Now, one of three things can happen after we start taking the action. We can get stuck. We start taking the action, but somehow we hit some sort of invisible wall that we just can't keep going. Another thing that can happen is that we can oscillate. We could get close, or we start, and then we fall back. We might even get there and lose it. Kind of like lottery winners. Lottery winners, most of them lose all their money within 5 years. So we can oscillate. We get partway and quit for some reason, or something happens. We run out of time, we get ill, we need to go help somebody, but we have to put ourselves last to take care of something else. And so we stop, or we come back, or we lose the weight and we gain it back, or we get better and then we are sick again. Whatever it is for you, we're in the loving relationship, but then it turns out to be similar to the last one. Whether we changed our mind, it got too hard, or we get halfway there, or anywhere along this line, and we lose it. Something always happens. You get busy. Someone else needs you. You take care of them. Someone pulled you out. There's always some sort of invisible excuse, because there's an invisible force that takes you out of it. Or maybe you got all the way here and you feel good for a little while, but you feel incomplete again and you try to find the next fix. Or you lose it all and have to build up again. This is the structure that most people are in. How many of you have found yourself in this structure? And a structure is something that has two or more parts working together. We talk a lot about structure in this work. So to recap, we have a stuck structure or an oscillating structure. And what do we want? We want a flowing structure. One direction, we want to flow like a river. The truth is that this is the structure that most of the world is in, the problem-based structure. Our government, our schools, our doctors, everyone is focused on what's wrong that needs to be fixed or overcome. If our focus creates our reality, what are we getting more of? So to explain what's going on, it's very important to understand that you have 3 levels of mind, of consciousness. And here we have the superconscious higher self mind, our energy mind, and we have our subconscious mind, and we have the conscious mind. And we must work from all of these aspects together, as we said, but the subconscious mind mostly runs the show. What's important to know is the human journey. It can be a controversial topic where when the spirit enters the body, there's a hypnotherapist, Michael Newton, who wrote a book called The Journey of Souls. He spent 20 years taking his clients back in time from when they were still in the womb and between lives to find out what actually happens before birth and after death. And all his clients said similar things. And one thing he wrote about is that spirit enters the body from the womb, usually later on in the trimester, and it's in and out of the body for the first 6 months because there's nothing for the soul to do. But as we are an embryo or a baby in the womb, all our needs are met. There's no action to take. Your pure creative spirit enters this human body at some point before it's born, and it's not a set time when that spirit enters the body, according to Dr. Newton, but the subconscious mind is already being formed. Over here, all you're never hungry, you're never cold. Everything is supplied and taken care of for you. You're always cradled, you're always safe. So then the subconscious is being formed, and the subconscious is like a supercomputer. It holds all the memories that you've ever experienced in this supercomputer. There's actually no supercomputer on Earth that can hold as much memory as your subconscious mind. It's formed at age 0 and stops at death. However, it's mostly formed from age 0 to 4 years old. Now, this mind runs the functions of your body. You don't have to relearn how to walk every morning when you get up. You don't have to relearn how to drive. When you're driving, your subconscious is actually takes over most of the functions. It knows how to signal. It knows where the brake and the gas is, and it knows to stop and go. And your conscious mind is actually looking for danger, but it is your subconscious that's doing most of the driving. And it's our primitive reptilian brain. It's our oldest brain. Now, think of it as an iceberg submerged. If your conscious mind is this top part of the iceberg, the subconscious mind holds most of the information, but you can't see it. It's submerged. You don't really know what's in the subconscious. Now, its main job is to keep you safe. That's the main job of the subconscious. It's to keep you safe for the survival of your species, right? Now, the conscious mind, as we said, is the tip of the iceberg. It's like your desktop memory on your computer. It only holds so much. It's the you, it's your personality, it's your ego, as we say, but we don't have to use ego in a negative term. It's just what makes you, you. Now, the conscious mind's main purpose, it firstly is mostly formed at age 7. Your subconscious, when we're young, the subconscious, it's like we're in a hypnotic state, and the conscious mind really starts forming at age 7. Now, it's your identity. You are aware, like we said, when you're driving, you're scanning for any kind of dangers. You're conscious of your surroundings and what's around you, and it's your present mind, and it critically thinks, it judges, and it goes for quality of life. Now, the subconscious goes for quantity of life to keep you alive and safe. The conscious mind seeks more satisfaction in life and less pain. It goes for quality of life. And now we said that there's a superconscious mind. The superconscious mind is that pure creative spirit, your higher mind, your higher self, your energy mind, your source. It is a pure creative energy. It's always there. It was there from all your lifetimes and in future lifetimes and in this present lifetime. So you can call it your higher self. You can call it id, Akash, or source, whatever you wish to call it. It is that pure creative spirit. It's here for expansion and experience. It does not judge. It never judges. There's no right or wrong. Like consciously we judge right or wrong. However, in the superconscious, it's just here for experience. There's no wrong or right. There's not even mistakes. It's just learning expansion and having experiences. It connects with you through your heart. You have a heart connection to it. It sends you signals in the heart, like something you love and passionate about. That is your higher self connection. And it is really your true identity, because think about all the lives that you may have lived, all your lifetimes. It's the same you. It's not just a you in this lifetime that's having this limited experience in this short time span we call human life. It's more you. It's more wise. It understands who you truly are, your essence, better than anything. But look at that. The baby is born. Remember, the baby was in the womb. Everything was being taken care of. And suddenly, it's kind of a shock to the system. There's a lot of work for your subconscious mind to learn here. You learn that suddenly not all your needs are being met. You learn that you need to take action. Perhaps you need to cry in order to get fed, to be warmed, or to be changed. Outside of the womb, you must learn how to survive. And you quickly learn that not all your needs are automatically met in order to survive. You know you must be fed, and crying gets you fed, it gets you changed, it keeps you warm, it makes you feel nurtured, and you learn what you need to do to survive. As we grow, more things are imprinted in the subconscious. The need to belong to our family or our tribe is deeply ingrained for our survival. We will do anything not to be rejected. We try to be more worthy. We try to be a good boy or girl. Our survival absolutely depends on this. Perhaps crying doesn't get you as far as it did before when you were younger. Suddenly, it might even be frowned upon. And so the subconscious learns how it is, what needs to be done in order to survive. We are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain with the conscious, and the subconscious gets coded in. If I'm good, I'll be worthy of mom's love. If I'm quiet, I'll get dad's approval. Whatever it is in your household and your family structure that you have learned that was imprinted, that is your subconscious imprinting from 0 to 7 years old. Whatever it is you learned from your upbringing, you might learn that I must be good or interested in dad's sports, or be more like him. If I'm good at school, I'll be worthy of dad's respect. Whatever it is, this is a child's perspective, the child made up at that young age to learn how to belong more and to be loved more. Of course, our parents loved us unconditionally for the most part, but the child makes up beliefs of what he or she needs to do in order to survive. Now, we also learn how to survive in groups. If I give up my toys or belonging, I might belong more. People might see my worth. And we make up these beliefs to resolve our pain. Whatever is survivable is considered safe. Remember, the subconscious mind seeks safety. Its job is to keep you safe. How does it know what is safe? It knows what's safe because if you survived it from age 0 to 7 years old, it's deemed safe. Even witnessing your parents arguing and living in an unharmonious household, the subconscious finds this safe because it doesn't know any different. It survived. If you saw your parents, this is even pre-verbal, before you could talk. The subconscious doesn't use language per se. It understands pre-verbal emotions and vibrations. If you noticed your parents being unhappy or expressing worries about money, working hard, whatever hardship they experienced when you were young, you coded that in as safe. Even abuse. I survived this. I'm still alive. I experienced abuse in my childhood. Therefore, it's safe to the subconscious. Safe equals familiar. Our subconscious codes in from 0 to 7 years old what you survived. Working hard, you saw your parents working hard, you survived. You survived scarcity, you survived abuse, you survived watching your family patterns working hard. You know that is safe. You survived life of stress, illness. The child gets wounded. We call this wounding by individuation. I believe this is Carl Jung that coined this term. But the child cannot escape. They can't escape emotions of shame, which are common. Parents shame children for all kinds of reasons. They have good intentions mostly, but this creates toxicity, toxic shame. It creates fear of losing your very belonging, of your family. But you don't die from it, so the subconscious says, oh, that's safe. Chronic pain may hurt you, but you don't die from it. For every 2-year-old being shamed, it feels like you're losing your belonging from your very family, whether it's shame or guilt. The child survives. So in order to survive, the child now thinks it should find places to feel ashamed and not die from it. The subconscious seeks to repeat those patterns in life. It knows that it's survivable. The subconscious runs the show. How crazy is this? It may sound ridiculous, but it becomes the agenda of the subconscious. The brain looks for the circumstances to know it can survive. It survived no money. It didn't die from it. If anything is unfamiliar, it's considered not safe. It doesn't know if those different states are survivable. Let's find more of the same because we didn't die from it. And it made up how life should be and looks to create more of those experiences. So getting back here, if we coded up, the subconscious coded up that it's not safe to be wealthy and successful without working hard or having an easy life or having a lot of money or having health, whatever it survived as a child. If you want this desired reality, the subconscious mind believes that it's not survivable if it wasn't coded in from the time that you were 0 to 7 years old. So again, safe is familiar. Belonging is essential to a child's survival. There's a saying, in a family of thieves, the honest child feels guilty. We cannot escape. We develop coping mechanisms, learned helplessness, suppressed emotions in order to belong more, and these patterns are locked in. Think about famous musicians, football players, lottery winners. What happens to them? Many of them go broke or have problems with handling their fame, money, or both. Their subconscious is rejecting it. So our next slide shows us the 6 core wounds that we develop as children that get coded into the subconscious mind. And these are the main core wounds. They're sabotaging identities. Now, all of us have one or more of these, and this is just a part of being a child and learning how to belong to the world. The first one is, I am not worthy enough. You're not worthy enough. And so if you make more money, if you go for a life that you love, the I'm not worthy identity will find ways to give it away, to lose the money because it doesn't feel worthy enough. So we focus on the fact that we're not worthy enough. And if we have the money, it would mean that we are worthy enough. But the identity believes that it's not. So they don't match. The current reality and the desired reality don't match vibrationally. So we end up focusing on the fact that I'm not enough. So I'm not worthy enough. This is the individual that maybe wants to go for more finances, loving relationship. However, the identity of not being worthy enough will not believe in being worthy to have it. So it will find a way to sabotage the worth, maybe by, if you get money, you give it away. Or if, in my case, if I got money, it wasn't for me, it was the nonprofit for the dogs, but not for me. And this person always does for everyone else because they don't feel worthy. They put themselves last. And if they do get, they feel guilty. They identify so much with this identity. The next one is I'm not good enough. And this individual that has this sabotaging identity has lots of certificates on their wall. Maybe they keep learning and getting more degrees and more doctorates or more PhDs. They're like overachievers. But the truth is that no matter how many certificates and degrees they have, they never quite feel good enough. That is the identity that's coded in. So no matter what they do, it never feels enough that they are good enough, no matter what they have. The next identity is I'm not significant enough. And this individual always feels like perhaps it can go either way. It could go two different ways. One is I don't have significance, so I'm always behind the scenes. I'm never heard. I'm the quietest person in the room. I blend in. I don't want to be seen because I have an identity of insignificant. Because I'm insignificant, I can't be seen. Or it can go the other way. I'm really flashy, the loudest person in the room. I have a flashy, colorful car. I wear super colorful clothes. I'm loud. Because I believe that I'm insignificant, so I must show and try to be significant enough. The next one is I'm not capable enough, and this individual never can get started on anything because they never have the resources. They always need other people's permission or other people's help, or not that asking for help is bad. However, they can't self-start anything because they never have the capability. And oftentimes this is also the third child has this identity, or someone with very overpowering parents that didn't allow or afraid of making mistakes, so they never feel capable. The next one is I'm not perfect enough, and this identity never actually finishes anything because they're always rewriting that book, always reshooting that video, always restarting and stopping. It's never going to be perfect enough. And so they might start many things, but never finish, never get to the finish line because it'll never be perfect. They're never perfect. So they spent so much time trying to perfect, never crossing that finish line. The next one is I don't belong enough. And to this individual, relationships are super important. They must belong. Perhaps they were rejected or they didn't get enough attention. And so they never know where they belong. Maybe the adopted child or the one that feels like a black sheep, never quite fitting in anywhere. And so most of us have one or more. Perhaps you identify with one of these. I know I had I'm not worthy, I'm not significant, and I don't belong quite a bit as my sabotaging identity. Maybe you can identify with one or more of these, but every child develops one of these, one or more. A lot of times we also develop I'm not loved enough, I'm not lovable enough, I'm not smart enough. These are also aspects of sabotaging not enough identities. So what ends up happening is we actually spend our lifetime trying to resolve these identities, meaning that we spend and operate our entire life from a mindset of a 7-year-old. Literally, this is really important to understand, and I repeat it because we spend our entire lives operating from a mindset of a 7-year-old. And let me explain how this system works on the board here. Now, we have an identity of not enough. Perhaps it's I'm not good enough. I don't belong enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not capable enough. And I'm not significant. And I'm not perfect enough. Okay? These are the sabotaging identities that are most common. And we currently are working from the mindset that got coded into the subconscious. So we go for the health, the body, the wealth, the love, the relationship, the business, the dream house, the career, whatever it is we're going for. And we start taking the action. As we said, we believe that the desired reality, everything will be better once we have it. However, remember what the subconscious says, that same equals safety, right? The subconscious's job is to stay the same because it knows it's survivable. All of these, it knows, whichever ones you have, it knows that beingness is survivable. It got coded in from age 0 to 7. Now it knows that it's survivable. So if you go over here and you have the health, and let's say there was a lot of illness, maybe as a child you noticed that your brother got a lot of attention when he was sick, and so you coded up that being sick is good. Let's say that you were sickly as a child and you got a lot of attention, and therefore you know that that is safe. You know that it was safe to be unhealthy. But if you were healthy, what will happen? You have an identity that perhaps you're not worthy of the health, or perhaps you won't belong to your family anymore, or perhaps you lose your significance if you have the health because you got all this attention here. So whatever the child coded in, it will mean that this identity will literally, the subconscious sees it as life and death. It's not safe. It doesn't know that being super healthy is survivable. It doesn't know that being wealthy is survivable, because you might not be worthy of the money. You saw your parents struggle and work hard, and maybe you heard them say that people with money are bad, or maybe you saw them experience or view people with money, or be envious, or feel like you don't belong to that tribe of wealthy people. You'd feel like an imposter over here. You don't belong here, or you're not worthy of the money. If you go there, it will mean that you are worthy, that you are enough, and it does not match with this identity. Now, if it's different, it's not familiar, the subconscious will see that it's not safe. And so you see, you go over here and it will find a way to keep you in this same identity that's familiar, therefore safe. Does that make sense? Whatever it is you go for, if you lose the weight, and maybe you saw, dad cheating with a woman that was fit and more beautiful, and so you coded in that fit and beautiful is bad and makes mom sad. Again, it doesn't make sense, but to the child at the time it may have. And so that is not what you identify with, and therefore it is not safe or survivable. So you will always find a way to gain the weight. Whatever it is for you and your household, you don't even have to know, but we all made this up from a childish perspective. This is why we say from a mindset of a 7-year-old or less. So if you have it, you might take the steps because you really want it, but your identity doesn't match up. And so it will find a way to oscillate that structure. And you spend your time trying to prove that you are, but your identity is that you are not worthy. If I have the house, the money, whatever, it'll mean that I'm worthy, that I deserve, that I'm enough. But my identity coded into the subconscious is that I'm not enough. For whatever ones it is for you, it doesn't match. Therefore, it is not safe. The subconscious, by way of emotions, excuses, even health problems, will find a way. The subconscious rules the show. The subconscious sends messages that will allow you to take the action that matches with this, not with this. Okay, let's share the screen again. We'll show you a great metaphor of what this looks like. When this horse was young, very young, it was probably tied to something, a post, anything, and it learned, this learned helplessness is what we call it, it learned that it can't move when it's tied. As it grew older, no matter what it got tied to, it just has the limited belief that it doesn't understand its own power. We understand, we look at this horse and go, oh, that's funny. This horse doesn't understand how powerful it is because it believes that it is weak. It was programmed not to know its own power. Imagine us today, we learned that we were powerless as children. Today, we believe that we are limited just like this horse. So imagine when it comes to finances, think about it. Most of us were children of 20-year-olds. Isn't it true that our parents, when we were born, they were in their 20s, most of us? However, today, would you take advice about money from a 20-year-old? We just wouldn't. But we still run the program that we learned from them about money. Does that make sense? So getting back to, now these woundings, as we call them, they're not just ours. You know, they're passed down from family in the DNA, and they're coded in our DNA, in personality traits, in triggers for survival, and mechanisms. Like if our ancestors suffered trauma from wars or tribal wars, it can be measured up to 7 generations deep, but we harbor those in our DNA, and also past lives. Memories from our past lives as well. And our parents' trauma, this is just an article I found on Apple News. It is proven and measured. Trauma leaves biological traces in children. Also, if your mother had trauma or high stress in the womb, we carry that. Everything is resonance and vibration. And we experience those vibrations in the womb as well, not just our DNA. Now, here is just a recap of the human journey, as we call it, that I just took you on. Do you see how where we started as the pure creative spirit, we become wounded through individuations, and we formed beliefs to resolve our pain, to know how to belong, to survive, right? And since we say in the law of attraction, our focus becomes our reality, what we focus on, it creates more of it. It gives us more of the same, whether we want the health, the wealth, the career, the relationship, the current reality and the desired reality structure cannot resolve itself. So as we said, you want this, but you are in a stuck or oscillating structure. Consciously, you want this because the conscious mind goes for more satisfaction in life. It goes for quality. but the subconscious rules the show. It views it as not safe. So you set up a belief that you must resolve that you are this, because your identity will think this is unfamiliar. Therefore, it's like life and death. Literally, the subconscious doesn't reason like your conscious mind. It just won't let you have it. Now, sharing our screen, there is this term called psychoneuroimmunology. And this is a fairly new branch of medicine. And it's the study of how our emotions affect our immune system. There are plenty of studies in the medical world that link emotional health and physical health. And most doctors don't make this connection or ask their patients about their emotions and their upbringing and their daily lives from whether it's from childhood. And instead, they prescribe a medication and all sorts of treatment without getting to the root of the emotions. It's called P&I for short. And they have found that this is connected to so many ailments, so many things, especially autoimmune disorders, because it's our immune system that is here to protect us. But when it has suppressed and repressed emotions, it sends our immune system out of whack. And there's lots of studies, whether it's all kinds of different cancers, heart disease, artery disease, even skin problems. And there are lots of things that connect us back to our suppressed emotions from childhood and our not enoughness identities. So being in that wrong structure of continuing to fix or overcome what's wrong with you, tension always seeks resolution. It seeks the path of least resistance. The current reality and desired reality is a tension structure. Now, if we take a rubber band, you see, here is the current reality, here's the desired reality, and you make your way. See, there's tension. If you focus on the desired reality, it pulls you and you just take the action, right, till you get there. And that is a tension structure. There's tension pulling you, and you make your way, and then you have it. However, if you have these, what you're not seeing as you take the aligned action, the tension is actually going to pull you down. So as you make your way, this is how you oscillate. The tension is like, don't go over there because you are over here. This is you. This is not you. So as you make your way, the focus is, before I can have this, I need to be good enough. I need to belong enough. I need to be worthy enough. And this tension cannot resolve itself while these are here. As long as these are present in your identity, it will never resolve. The structure will never resolve. So how do we have what we want? We must first have no resistances to this. This is a form of resistance to having this. And so we want to set a tension structure where we want to go not from now, I'm not enough, right? We want to go to say, now is good enough, I'm enough. And the current reality and the desired reality feel the same. It's not true if we believe that the desired reality is going to be better some way. It is just not true. What if we say, hey, now is good enough? Now I feel like I would feel, if you have the millions of dollars or the health and vitality, your identity will still be the same. Isn't it true that there are sad people sitting in mansions and happy people sitting in mansions? It doesn't change you. However, if you believe that here is good and here is good, then once you have this, it won't say, oh, this is unfamiliar because I know this is good and this is good. It feels the same. And so the key is we must be it now. We must be it now. We must get into the emotion of what we believe feels like over here and bring it into now. Remember, you're a pure creative spirit in a human body. Your mind is powerful. Why does the pharma industry test their $1 million product against your brain with a placebo? A drug doesn't need to do much better, over a big margin to get approved than a placebo. And that's with a brain that's untrained, that doesn't know how to create like what we teach you here. And so if you don't feel good enough and you're trying to get away from the now, you're just focused on the not enough. Focus creates reality. How is this landing? Let's keep going, guys. This is the true journey, and this is what we teach in this group, what I teach in your transformational program, and what we're going to do an exercise today, an experience for you. So we've gone through this journey and we see how we're kind of stuck in this endless loop. Beliefs create reality, that I'm not enough. I just see more of the same, and I'm stuck in this endless loop. What if we shift and we release the old beliefs of not enoughness? Because the truth is, the pure creative spirit is enough. Imagine taking a row of 2-year-old babies and tell them which one is more worthy than the other. We are all worthy. We are all good enough. We are all significant. We all deserve. It is not true that your circumstances don't allow it. Isn't it true that most people who created amazing things, look at Steve Jobs, look at Michael Jackson, all these people that are so imperfect. We know them as imperfect, yet it did not stop them from creating what they wanted to create, their desired reality. It did not stop them. They just went for it. They didn't spend time trying to resolve what's wrong with them. Isn't that true? Now, if we release those old belief systems that we're not enough and that we can't have it, and we reorientate as a pure creative spirit in a structure that just creates versus trying to resolve, focus on creating instead of resolving, the focus will create our new reality, and we become conscious creators. Instead of reacting to life, resolving, we just create. We change our structure into a simple, I choose this end result. I know what it feels like. I believe it's going to feel great. And I choose to feel great over here. And there's nothing to resolve. I'm perfect already, because the truth is your subconscious mind is working perfectly. It created these because it's just working as it should. And it served you as a child. Because as a child, we don't know everything. It keeps us safe. As a child, we need to listen to our parents who are trying to keep us safe. However, is it still serving you? Do you still have to be a good boy or girl? Do you still have to know how to belong to your family? Or are you here to live your life, to follow your passions? Which is it? And so it's just the old reptilian brain that's trying to keep you safe is stuck running an old program that is, it's an expired program. Certainly you can keep those that serve you, such as if you stick your hand in the fire, you get burned, but there's so much, most of it you no longer need. So what we do is we have a transformational program that releases your woundings and suppressed emotions from childhood, past lives, your ancestors, that no longer serves you, and keeps you in the creation-based structure. And this is done in the fastest way possible with the least amount of work. How does that sound? Now, there are 5 steps to creation. The first one is that you must choose. How do you choose? Well, most of us want something, but a lot of times we want it for the wrong reasons, or we aren't wanting it for ourselves. we aren't living in our truth. We're choosing by limitations. So that is something that a lot of people do. So we teach you how to choose correctly. This is very important. Otherwise, you're in a negative vision and get what you don't want. Number two is we get into the emotion, because you have to teach your cells of your body how it feels once you have it, so it learns that it is safe. Otherwise, it will reject it. Number three is we create the structured tension, understanding what's going on in the current reality in relation to the desired reality. This is very important. It teaches all the levels of your consciousness what it needs to shift. Then we just recode. We perform a rapid recode, which is bringing up the resistance and energetically release it. We do it in a very simple process. There's no trance. There's nothing to do but just sit quietly and listen passively to the instructions I give through the energy field with your permission to accept the treatment. That's all that you have to do. You set the intention. You are a powerful creator. And that is all that is done in the process. It's the easy, that's why I say it's the easiest thing you've ever done, and the fastest, because we take the shortcut through energy. However, as you know, in order to get here, there's an action required. You go to the gym, you need to get another job, or you need to start the business, you need to write the book, you need to publish it, you need to make the video, whatever it is for you, because you may have started and then had these identities that would stop you. We release these identities to let you know that you're enough, so you can take the next inspired action and keep moving forward. And that is the difference between all the other modalities that you have tried, focusing on resolving yourself, versus this, which says there's nothing to fix. Your subconscious mind was working perfect. You are perfect as you are. However, these are outdated. You are enough. That way you can take the next aligned, inspired action. So let's start it. Let's do the steps. We're going to do the process, but in order to do that, we need to first choose correctly. So what is something that you've always wanted to create? Whether it's a life you love, financial abundance, whether it's a business, a career, health and vitality, you must choose something you've always wanted that's in your heart, never for somebody else, never from is not good enough, because, oh, I want this because I want money because I'm broke. I want health because I'm unhealthy, because I have this. Never from that, because where's your focus? Your focus is that now isn't good enough. You just want it just because you love it. That is a true choice, not by limitation. Oh, I want just a little more than what I have because I don't believe I can have anything else, right? So that's a limited belief. Or by default, well, I just want this because I don't think I can have anything else, so I'll just choose that. Or by elimination, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, therefore I want that. Or by the universe, well, you know, I wanted something and then I saw an 1111 on my phone, and that means I want that. Well, you know, I love those numbers, and I do believe in some kind of divine intervention, but your heart knows what you want, period. And you don't need a strike of lightning from the universe to tell you that you love it. You love what you love. By consensus, not what everybody thinks you should do. It's what you want. Or by reaction, meaning out of fear of something, or because the world is going to end, and so I want this. I hope that makes sense. Choose something just because you love it, something you've always wanted. Maybe you don't believe it's possible, but you still want it. I've always wanted a dream home, or something where you're just like, oh, that's a pie in the sky. You'll never own a home. And just choose what you would love to have, and don't let limitations stop you. Once you have your choice, you might want to write it down, and then we claim it. It's a choice. It's not a wish. It's not a goal. Notice the difference. I choose. Remember, you're a conscious creator. You get to choose. Next. Now, this part is very important, and the more you play out, the better your results. Because remember, we said the subconscious mind does not know the difference if you are actually having an experience of a certain emotion, like let's say you're feeling a certain emotion. Perhaps if you're watching a scary movie and you know you're in a movie, but there's a big scary scene that comes up and you jump out of your seat. It's like your body doesn't know that it's fake, even though your conscious mind knows that you're in a movie. So notice how your body reacts as we get scared. We tense up. As we are happy and feel loving emotions, the body reacts. So allow the emotions of, if you just had your end result, to feel that joy and that satisfaction. Play full out here and use as many senses as possible, like your vision, use your emotions, use your body, like what posture would you have? Put a smile on your face. So this is a closed eye, just a few seconds. You close your eyes and you imagine, you say, I choose the end result of, and you pretend like it's already done. And this isn't a process like, oh, I'm on my way there, or I'm getting away from if I didn't have the weight of the world on my shoulders, if I wasn't stressed. That's the focus is on the wrong thing here. So we just want to go to feel the end result like it's already true. We just pretend that it's already done. That is teaching the cells of your body and the subconscious that it is familiar and safe. And the more you do it, the more familiar it becomes to your subconscious. And in our program, we also have meditations under 20 minutes each that further help train your subconscious to accept the end result when it's coming and therefore deemed safe and familiar. Feel the end result like it's already true. And just take a breath, take the day off, open up your heart center and feel the end result like it's already done. Put a smile on your face and play full out. Take about 30 seconds to do this. Breathe like you're already there. Notice how your posture would be. Notice how your expression would be. Notice what's around. And you don't choose for anyone else. You just choose for yourself. You can't force other people to be with you or all that, because they're creators too. Everyone's a co-creator. And so you can only choose for you. Maybe if you're in a loving relationship, you feel the essence of the person, not the actual person. Maybe you notice what kind of people are around, what kind of environment is around you. Where are you? What are you doing? Is it day? Is it night? Are you inside? Are you outside? All these things, you could just imagine and choose how you want it to be. Everything in the universe was first made up in the mind. You can make it up too. How would you like to have it? Now, we must create the structural tension, as we said, by understanding what is the current reality. The tension structure is compared to that end result. Oh, that felt great. But what is it like right now in the current reality? So we understand point A and point B. This is a structure. Two or more points working together. The end result feels great. The current reality might not be. It doesn't match. Just notice that it does not match. It's different. Now there's stress. Now there's worry. Now that whatever it is for you, no wrong or right. And maybe it's not, maybe it's great. However, notice if there's a difference. And the next step after that, we unpack. Remember that iceberg? Remember, most of the information is submerged beneath the water surface. When we unpack, we bring up these beliefs and resistances and everything that was formed, so we can bring it to the active experience. We float up those segments of ice blocks into the water, which is easier to treat. And this is what we do. And so what judgments do you have about your current reality in relation to the end result? Perhaps you want the end result, but I can't have it because of my circumstances. I can't have it because I don't have the resources. I am an imposter. I don't know what it's like to be there. I don't belong there. It's too much work. it'll take too much time. These are all beliefs, and they are true for you. And there's no wrong or right. You're allowed to feel or believe any of them. They are yours. And superconscious, remember, has no judgment. It just gives you what you ask for, what you focus on. Where do you want to focus? Do you focus on the end result, on the current reality, and that you're not enough? So let's just understand, because this knowledge is power. How do you judge others who have this? Are they luckier than you? Are they better at something than you? Do they deserve more than you? Did they have better upbringing than you? How do you judge yourself and the end result? Is it too hard? Whatever it is for you, just unpack it. You can write it down. You can think about it, but writing it down is highly recommended. So if you have this, who will be impacted both negatively and positively? If you have it, you think life will be great. However, if you have a partner, do they want the same thing? Sometimes we don't realize that we want to retire our loved ones, but do they want to retire? They might not feel worthy to just do nothing. So how will they be impacted? What if you and your partner are both overweight and you want to be skinny? However, how will that make your partner feel? Will it make them feel less than? Or will they lose their potato chip on the couch pig out buddy? Or just think about how others will be impacted both positively and negatively. There's no right or wrong, but we can come up with all sorts of stories that are embedded down beneath the surface. And what do you stand to lose? You stand to lose the belonging of your family. If you had all this wealth and this great life, and your family has struggled all their lives, will they relate to you? What stories and excuses come up for you? Will you be abandoned? Will you not know how to belong to your friend group? Will you be judged? Think about all the things that the stories and the circumstances that might come up for you. Unpack it. And the more you write down, the more you think about it, the more you bring up to the surface, the more effective your treatment will be. This easy treatment, it's easy and fast, but the more you bring up, the more you get out. All right, so the next step is we get to do a recode. So what we do in a rapid recode is, remember, we have the three minds. Remember that we have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious, and the super conscious. We are missing a C here, conscious mind. Now, your conscious mind wants more satisfaction. This one seeks safety. However, this does not judge. We just are all connected through this. Like I am here, the coach. There's a morphogenic field around me. You are here. There's a morphogenic field around you. I have a field around me with my family members. And so do you. Connect with humanity. However, there is even a further field layer that connects humanity, that connects us. And there's even more levels of fields, but it is the quantum science morphogenic field explanation. The short explanation is that we all vibrate, we're all energy. And so when I give the command and I talk to it like a person, I say superconscious this, superconscious that, and I talk to your superconscious. You just set the intention to receive it, and because you have control over your immediate field, and you choose to receive the information, whether it's all commands to our trauma, our events, our memories. We don't forget. These aren't to forget our memories, but we, instead of having an emotional charge that's unwanted, we just turn it into wisdom. Because everything, your memories in the subconscious mind, they're not erased memories, but they just make you more whole as a person rather than fractured and triggered. Like sometimes we are driving a car and everything is fine and we're calm, and then someone cuts us off and then we get triggered and angry, right? And sometimes that anger or rage has its purpose. Like mama bear has rage or anger when her cubs are in danger. Now that is a very useful set of emotions and it's used properly. However, a lot of us, when we repress and suppress our emotions and in survival mode, which was locked in at age 0 to 7, we aren't using those emotions properly. That's why they get triggered when someone says something that we find hurtful, and we overreact. So these are not to dismiss the pain or the memories, but we just know how to handle them better. And so we start seeing changes subtly right away. It's like when you have pain and you've taken an aspirin, over time, you don't notice that the pain is gone. Suddenly, you're just doing something and you realize, oh, I don't have that pain anymore. Or you're in a certain situation where someone said something when normally you would react in a negative way, and you say, and you realize, oh, I'm surprised how I handled that so well. I was able to have a calm conversation and reach a resolution with ease and wisdom, as we say. And that is what we do, what a recode does. So what will happen is I am going to connect a previous session, the replays work, and I will attach a session that I performed with a large group of people online, and you will be able to experience the release. And what it feels like is sometimes we all feel differently. Sometimes we don't feel much, especially the first time we would feel less because the body isn't familiar and of what to expect, but expect nothing and feel everything. It's a closed eye process. It's about 20 minutes. You just listen passively and receive the information by giving the permission. You just say, I give Galit permission to access my superconscious field. You choose your end result, which we already have, and you set the intention to get the most out of it. Sometimes you yawn, sometimes you might feel emotional, sometimes you feel energy in your body. We're all different, but for the most part, it's pretty subtle. And afterwards, people report feeling calm, centered, relaxed, clear, and it's an overall very positive feeling. And if you can imagine doing this on a regular basis, how your life can shift for the better as you let these old identities that no longer serve you diminish, so you can just take an action without worrying about trying to resolve yourself. Just like any great creator who just went for it without trying to fix themselves first. Because who told you that you can be successful or not? Who told you that you can have the money or the body or the health or not? It is not true that you can't, because you are a conscious creator. You are just like everyone else, a spirit in a human body, and you have equal right and abilities to create what is in your heart. There's a reason that you have passions, and what's in your heart is because that's your innate right. You were born with a guidance system, and what you love is your way of your inner guidance system. So let's reawaken. We just forgot that we are pure creative spirits. It's like we're born, we have temporary amnesia, but the truth is, let's remember who we really are and let go of the limitations that no longer serve us. Choose your end result and then receive the information of that's coming, and I'll see you on the other side. This metaphor is very important because the superconscious speaks to us in metaphors. The subconscious, remember, was formed before the age of 7. So a lot of it is pre-verbal, and therefore metaphors are very easy for the subconscious to understand. So here's a river of desire where you are here at the beginning and your end result here is at the end of the river. And these boulders represent your blocks, your sabotaging beliefs, identities, traumas, anything that is preventing you from flowing smoothly to your end result. And in the recode process, what we do is we dissolve portions. We may not dissolve it all at once. Sometimes we need several sessions to dissolve boulders for one thing, because it's whatever your subconscious deems comfortable. We can't just change overnight. The truth is that you and your loved ones will not be comfortable. So we release what is in the highest good to release. And sometimes it's a portion of the boulder, sometimes it's a whole boulder. There's no wrong or right. There's no need to get frustrated if you didn't shift everything. The truth is, it's just doing the right amount in the right way. So you give yourself a measurement on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 means I have no boulders, no resistance. I am in flow to my end result, my desired reality. I believe it's totally doable. It's possible. I take the action steps and I can do it. I know it's inevitable. 10 is I don't even believe my end result that I would really love to have is even possible. Not in my lifetime. I don't know how I'm going to do it. You don't have to worry about the how. It's about even knowing that it's possible. The how is actually the last thing we should worry about, is how to get there. If we just focus on the end result and not worry about the how will show up. You must have self-trust that the how shows up. And in this work, we just trust, we release the resistances, and then the how shows up. Here we go, and enjoy the process.
So everyone just get comfortable, close your eyes, give me the permission. Choose the end result in your heart and just know it's inevitable. I love that. I love that. It's inevitable. Just know it's inevitable. And let's remove the resistance. So choose to allow me. And superconscious, are we all connected? Do you see this true choice? Choose the end result. Yeah, everybody's got a different end result. Many are similar for here in this live session and in replay. Superconscious sees, and superconscious, please ensure that all parts during the treatment for the highest good. Superconscious, do you see all this resistance and beliefs regarding this? Rules, etc., that are holding the resistance, keeping us from our end result. Please create a perfect treatment plan in the perfect order, in the perfect way, removing all this resistance for the highest good in the fastest way possible, yet gentle as possible. Great. Ensuring that everyone understands, we're going to use the football field metaphor, because that's what the universe is calling for, that our end result is at the goal, right? And we're just playing on the active field, running towards our goal with ease, but there's some gopher holes that have appeared in our playing field. They represent all our blocks and beliefs and rules and inherited mumbo jumbo that have been created. And in this recode, we're just going to smooth over these gopher holes gently and easily, like with a feather, just easily until these gopher holes are filled and we have an even playing field towards our goal so we can access it with ease. Look, there's not even a goalie. Superconscious, do you understand? All parts understand this metaphor. And please create the perfect treatment plan, removing the resistances. Please include part personalities, identities, dormant parts, beliefs, rules, memories, events, emotions, family history, body systems, in all circumstances from all timelines and realms, and do a massive change history in all that's needed. Let's remove all this resistance and start filling in those gopher holes with ease. Superconscious, let's treat beliefs and rules about others are more important than me. Others have more power than me. Others have more information than me. I don't have the information needed. I don't have the capability needed. I don't have the power to change it. And I will be judged. Superconscious, please treat any beliefs and rules about ourselves, others, about the world that are in this resistance to our end result. What will others think? Beliefs. Please treat any beliefs about judgment of others. Thank you. Please treat beliefs and rules about others having the power over us. Thank you. Let's treat our own alignment with our choice and perform the sentence procedure. I deserve to have this end result. I deserve it. I'm fully capable. It's easy. I don't need permission from anyone else. I don't need. I know where to ask if I need help. I know where to find the help. I know where to find assistance, and I know where to find the information. I trust myself. Superconscious, can you treat and do a massive change history regarding any resistance to those statements with our own alignment? Thank you. Superconscious, treat resistance to I have the power to create it. Thank you. Good. Treat definitions, please. Thank you. Superconscious, please treat any parts or identities in resistance, especially the protector controller. Treat any parts that believes that they're not worthy, that others are have more self-worth. So that would be the burdened, the wounded, the people pleaser, the inner child, the victim. Yeah, please treat all these and do a massive change history. The protector controller, all the part identities that are in resistance. Treat any sub-personalities as well. And superconscious, do you see there's events to treat? And let's go to the original event that's causing resistance. Can you treat it? Treat any trauma, beliefs, memories, triggers that have caused resistance from this original event. It's different for everyone in all timelines, so let's different timelines, but let's do a massive change history and everything regarding this original event. It could be in this lifetime, it could be in past lives, concurrent lives, whatever's needed. And superconscious, tag and treat all other events that have caused trauma, fears, especially fear of abandonment, fear of failure, or cause triggers, beliefs and rules, and do a massive change history and everything regarding all events in resistance. Thank you. Again, from all the timelines. Good. And superconscious, do you see these emotions that are in resistance? The fears, there's fear of success, of having this end result. There's fear of failure. There's fear of our own greatness, fear of being seen in our own greatness, fear of judgment, fear of the unfamiliar, that it is not safe. Superconscious, can you treat these fears that aren't aligned for the highest good? Thank you. Superconscious, please treat the fear of judgment. Thank you. Good. Treat fear of losing motivation, please. Thank you. And all the emotions of the past, old structures that are not aligned with this choice of not being good enough, not being smart enough, not worthy, not capable, insignificant, don't belong, not perfect enough, again, not safe. Can you treat the massive change history and everything regarding these old identity structures? Thank you. Collapse them so we can step into our new creative structure, holding our end result, being in alignment. And superconscious, any other negative emotions that we can let go of for the highest good, including grief, shame, guilt, anger, resentment, whatever we're ready to release for the highest good that isn't aligned, do a massive change history, allowing these emotions to just melt away. And allow in their place all the positive emotions that propel us to our end result with ease, the self-trust, self-confidence, inner peace, self-acceptance, love, self-love, compassion, empathy. Let's do a massive change history, allowing in the positive emotions that align us with our end result. Thank you. Superconscious, treat family history as needed from all the timelines, whatever's inherited from all generations, both mother and father side, the DNA, the beliefs, the rules. There's an inherited element of shame that was passed down, triggers, memories. Do a massive change history, releasing anything that's not aligned. Guys are doing great, making great progress. Treat broken agreements, please. Subconscious, you see broken agreements, broken promises. Thank you. Let's cut cords to anything, anyone, any place, to any relations that aren't aligned for the highest good, and do a massive change history. Please treat secondary intentions. Good. And let's treat body systems. Superconscious, can you restore balance to all energy systems of the body, the perfectly restored and balanced chakras? Scan all body systems, the chakras restored, detoxified, cleared, and expansion and aligned, grounded, connected. Same with the meridian channels, nice, clear, connected, restored. Same with the auric field, restored, bright and connected. Do a massive change history on all these energy systems. Please include fight, flight, or freeze response treatment. Thank you. Please treat all body systems to restore homeostasis or balance to the body. Detoxify and release toxins gently and effectively, fully releasing, eliminating. Treat any identities holding on to pain or ailments or labels, and do a massive change history and everything that's needed that's not aligned with the end result. Thank you. And I'm going to just check in with you real quick. If you guys can come back temporarily and just type in your first and second number. I want to see how you're doing. I feel like we're still processing this, but 8 to 5, 7 to 2. Yeah, still processing. 7 to 4, 9 to 8, 5 to 2. You guys are filling in those gopher holes. Someone's at 0. We got a few zeros as we go along. 2 to 0. Yeah, 9 to 3. But not everybody is at 0, and I'd like to get most of you at 0. It's okay if you're not. There's, again, no right or wrong. Everybody's on their own journey. But let's, if there's any more resistance, let's come back. If you're not at 0, please come back in. We're going to finish and just scan and see what else we can clear. If you are at 0, you're welcome to hold space for the rest of us until we ground at the end of the recode. Okay, so come back to me and close your eyes. Let's go back in. Focus on your end result. Step into this. Okay, step into this end result. Superconscious, do you see the end result? Do you see any more resistances to having it? Can we treat it for the highest good? So let's find the resistances left. Good. Superconscious, please scan part personalities and identities, beliefs and rules. Preconditions. Any emotions not allowing, any fears, any family history. Okay, scan and find any more resistance if you see them for the highest good. If we can treat down to 0, do a massive change history and everything that's needed, scanning all parts, identities, circumstances, memories, everything from all the timelines, and release in the highest good. Thank you. Body systems. What are we really willing to release today? Letting it all go. We're ready to receive our end result. Superconscious, can you find, tap, and treat them? Superconscious, please ground and anchor in this new identity into the matrix of the universe, including everything we've touched on today. All ego states, timelines, emotions, events, shadow memories, part-time personalities. everything in the active experience or inactive experience. Do one last massive change history, releasing any further resistance and ground it all when done. Let's take our deep breaths here. And come back to me when you're ready.
All right, I hope that was enjoyable for you and you felt release and shifts. You might feel calmer, more peaceful. And as you return to the current reality in the here and now, if you think about your desired reality that you have chosen, how would you rate your new level of resistance? How do you feel? Do you notice that the negative versus positive emotions have shifted? Is something clearer for you? Is there an inspired action that you feel like taking? And this is what we do in each recode, and we have many recodes, whether they're live or in replays. This is what we do each time. And as we release more and more, the action steps become easier and we reach our destination much faster than we would have if we just kept oscillating and being stuck. What happens is transformation, shift happens. Your triggers, your mood, your perspective, they are subtle at first, but like a pain that went away, as we discussed, you forgot all about it. Life just seems to be more enjoyable. So as you move forward in your creations, new resistances arise because you're always in new territory. You're still recognizable, yet you slowly forget how you used to be. I used to be always worried, stressed, and overwhelmed. As soon as my eyes would open in the morning, I would be riddled with a blanket of stress and overwhelm. And I am no longer that person. I wake up now in complete joy and satisfaction. I create my life just how I love it. I have a morning routine where I have a cup of coffee in bed and I write in my journal. And then later on, I see clients, I see groups, and I make my own schedule. And that is not the version of me that I used to be, where I used to work 60 hours for not much money. And that has direct effect on a cellular level, on health, on the people around you, and all that energy that you put towards stress can now be directed towards creating what you love. So how can you shift and release on a regular basis? You can continue shifting by teaching your subconscious that it's safe to have what you want. Imagine all that you could create, and what would you let go of? What more would you like to have in life? All the things that you've always wanted. If you let go of that old programming, what would you like? How many years would it take you to unlearn all the old conditioning of not enoughness that you've held on for decades? How would you do it in the old way? How many things have you tried that have not worked? And so what I want to show you is that you can continue to shift and release in the easiest way possible. Wasn't that easy? And so I want to help you become super conscious. And here is my I Am Super Conscious transformational program. It is packed with lessons and replays, not all recodes. There's about 80 recodes, but there's also many, many lessons based in NLP. There's a journaling program that is goal-oriented, where you choose what you want to create, and then it helps you work your way backwards to learn the steps. And if you get stuck and feel limited and are confused, you just show up for a recode and it helps set you straight and on your way. Now, there are 2 live Rapid-Recode sessions there per week. It doesn't matter what time zone you're in. You can show up live or in replay. They all work. Again, there's 80 recode replay sessions and counting. And again, they work in replay like you just experienced. We go over money patterns and money beliefs. We go over old family patterns that we release, family constellations. We even do a womb clearing. We work on health and vitality. We do a lot about health. In fact, your health will be helped simply by showing up and choosing a life you love and being in joy. That will directly impact your health. That's proven. And we teach you a morning ritual. It's very important. We align with self-love, which is another super important start to having what you want, being allowed. A lot of people don't even allow themselves to have what they want because they aren't in self-love. And so we have to master this first so you can receive what you say you want. We help you set goals, and as well, we call them goals here, but really they are your choices of what you want to create, and we help you plan them. We help you stay in true choice versus most people choose in the indirect way. We teach you how to do that. If you have old traumas from childhood, past lives, or even family related, we treat those traumas in just allowing them to dissolve and turn into wisdom. We help you find your purpose. Some of us don't even know what we want. We weren't allowed to dream. We help with that and more. So there's hours of lessons and learnings. As I said, there's daily meditations that are 20 minutes or less, because I don't believe that you have to meditate for 2 hours a day in order to have what you want. You can just do it quick and shift. You do it first thing in the morning and be done with it. And your subconscious is learning to accept all your wonderful creations that are coming your way in the fastest way possible. We also include a VIP Facebook group where you can be a part of a community. And we include today a 10-minute meditation just by viewing this webinar and partaking in this with us today. We gift you a 10-minute morning ritual meditation that you could just shift in 10 minutes a day. So here is the program, and I just want to show you more results of how this impacts people and how they see their journey in releasing and releasing and releasing and releasing. Just keep showing up and keep letting go of the old and creating something new from an unlimited perspective. The old was a limited perspective, showing up to an unlimited potential. Imagine what is possible. Effortless abundance is what someone writes. Nature, life's purpose is joy, balance, easiness, naturalness, and effortless abundance. Even if it just gives you joy on a daily basis that you didn't have, to get you out of stress and worry. So think about what it can do for you. Of course, there's so many more results, just people creating a life they love. And again, I do this one-on-ones and in groups. If you want to learn more about doing a combination of group and one-on-one, I do have packages available, but these are both from my groups and one-on-ones, these testimonials that you see here. And there's many more. However, how to get the most out of this program? You know how many times we sign up for things and then we don't show up? There's a reason for that, because the subconscious just doesn't want you to change. So it'll put up reasons for you not to show up. But to get the most out of this program, if you see the value of it, just show up. You don't have to do all this stuff. Just show up, show up, show up, show up, show up. That's it. Everything will fall into place, and you will find the courage to take the action. You will find inspiration to create new realities if you show up. Attend at least one live or replay per week. Meditate as many times as you can, once a week, 5 times a week, 7 times a week. Even one is better than none. 20 minutes or less. Be consistent. That's what I mean by showing up. The only reason, again, not to show up is just your subconscious doesn't want to change. So recognize it as that. You have many modules and lessons here of how to become a superconscious creator. The meditations are here. We have an endless replay library. Over here, we said self-love, self-sabotage, family constellation, fear of success, self-trust. There is so many things to go over, including inner child recode, how to sharpen our focus, creating through conflict. We have a lens, as we said, our journaling system. We review it and have accountability once a week. You can show up for that. We can, talk about life's balance. We can create a new identity. We can recode the fear of failure that stops us from taking the necessary action step to what we want because we're riddled in fear of failure, and so we don't go for anything. Becoming the super conscious creator is like learning a new language. It's coding in how to think, how to feel, how to see the world through a different lens, a different perspective. And there, as you can see, are really endless lessons in how to create and how to be it, how to live life. And this will, you see, there's no shortage of things to create. And a lot of us are stuck in this controlling, need to control. And what's the difference between controlling your situation and creating, and how to choose in the correct way? And how here we have money patterns and stories. We all know them. We all have them. Control again versus surrender. And now that it's working, how to teach the subconscious that it's safe. And forgiveness, the forgiveness actually hurts us, not the people that we're not forgiving. Now, there is just so much. How many of us start but don't really finish what we start? And there is just so much content here. And I will go on forever, but that is how we use that. We also have, like I said, a Facebook group that you can be a part of the community. It's a choice. You don't have to, but it is welcome for you to use. Some signs, again, that it's working. You get less triggered in life. Your negative emotions are less extreme. You feel more centered, more confident. You have more overjoy and more laughter. That is something I noticed. I was starting to laugh more. I wasn't someone who laughed much. And you're less concerned about what other people think. You just are living from your truth, and you're living your life without letting judgment stop you. And you do gain more courage, and you take aligned action that you wouldn't have before. Isn't it true that when we're given something for free, we take it for granted? We don't see the value of it. But knowing what you know and what you've learned here, I'll give you a free week, but you must show up. So here's how to join the free week. If you do it, as I said, I'll give you a free bonus 10-minute meditation to further release blocks. That is the path to transformation. I highly recommend it. I hope you see all the value of releasing any blocks of not enoughness and more, and making it much easier to attain what you want, even believe it's possible, and create amazing things. So just like me, again, I started out with a nonprofit salary and a lot of overwork. And today I make my own hours. I work for myself. I tripled my income and then some. I own properties and living life on my terms and creating change, creating impact. And a lot of us who feel unfulfilled or lost, it's because we don't feel like we're making an impact. And I know that that's what you want as well. So if you get out of your own way, you can do the same. So looking forward to seeing you, and thank you so much for participating. See more information.